perspective.
Let's get started then with Free Comic Book Day 2011, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, this is where I'm going to have to give it to the old Sonic Super Special issue 15, where I don't care much for the cover of the Free Comic Book Day issue. Sure, it looks all nice, updated, and if you look closely you can see that it's actually Sonic running through the first level of the first Sonic game. But there's just not much to it. Besides him running and a bit of nostalgia in the background, there's nothing there. All the other covers of the Free Comic Book Day issues were far better than this one. Whereas in the Sonic Super Special, you see him surrounded in ice, sweating. You see his breath from his mouth, and his gloves are a bit torn. And in the ice, you see multiple reflections of Nagus, showing that he's returned. Sure, if you look up close, the art isn't that nice as the Free Comic Book Day issue, but this cover here tells a whole lot more. I can't believe it. It's the Death Egg. As you see there, this story is called Rematch, which is a far better title than Nagus games in the Super Special issue, where there wasn't even any games at all, but was more like a rematch as it is going to be in this issue. And we get a two-page spread of Nagus and Sonic, as Sonic goes over his recent dealings around the world and what Nagus has done in the past. It makes me think back to the last time I saw his ugly mug. The past. It's here that we see Sonic thus going to the castle where he last fought Nagus and where Eddie gave his life to save them all. It's been a while since the hunt for Nagus brought me and Tails here. We fought him to a standstill, only for you to truly save the day, and us. I got these here so fast the frost hasn't touched them. What do you think of that, Eddie? Now that's a Sonic entrance. Unlike in the Super Special where he flew there in the plane, which besides the one or two of the games he flies the plane, you never see him fly the plane. So seeing him run there, since we've seen in issues that he's able to run over water if he doesn't stop moving, and even across the oceans, it makes sense that he would just run there. And I do like the fact that they show the flowers without frost. That shows how fast he really is. I barely knew you, but you were way past cool, man. Rest in peace. Peace, I said! Peace! Whoa, whoa! Oof! Dude, if you didn't like the flowers, you could have told me. Sure is bright for a castle turned avalanche. Is somebody still living all the way out here? Oh, it's the leftovers from all of Nate Morgan's ring smithing. I thought we used them all up in our fight with X's Nagus? No way! So far, the art has been amazing. And I gotta say, the writing has far improved. Whereas you can see here, Sonic doesn't describe that he's fallen through a cave-in. You could clearly see it himself. And he's stuck in that cave for about 3 panels, maybe 4. And in those 4 panels, you can see him clearly. And he has a lot more to say. No time to waste. Hey, Gruesome. Long time no... The Quickster. Then let us still those troublesome feet. This is going well. What's the deal? I thought you'd been blasted back to your spooky dimension. Oh, I was. But I was still empowered by thousands of magic rings. I used that power to conjure a portal back to this world. Do you see? No matter how you defy me, I will always return to hunt you. Big words, Ugly. Unfreeze me and say that again. Bah! With these rings, I will regain my transcendent state. I shall finally claim Mobiletropolis as my own, and make it the capital of my new world, fused with the Zone of Silence. Now this is how you bring back a nemesis. Unlike duping a hero who's hardly ever gets duped, you just showed that Nemesis has his own power to come on his own and could hardly be stopped. Yeah, no! We just got Mobiletropolis back from Dr. Robotnik. Okay, now we can try to find out where this story fits in the timeline. Whereas in Sonic Super Special 15, All we know is that Sonic had green eyes. That's what we had to work with, which happened back in issue 71. So, that story could have taken place sometime after 71, almost anywhere until Nagas comes back. Whereas here in the Free Comic Book Day issue, not only does he have green eyes, which happens in 71, but he says that they got Mobiletropolis back from Dr. Robotnik, which Mobiletropolis was taken from them by Dr. Eggman in issue 75. So this story could just take place somewhere between issues 71 and 75. But 74 is a continuing story arc to 75. So more likely it takes place somewhere between 71 and 74. Fun fact! And I'm not about to let you mix Mobius with that freaky dimension of yours. There's a cold wind at the door, Quickster. And it comes for you! The blizzard hungers for your meddlesome hedgehogs. The blizzard can go on a diet. And so Sonic runs circles around the room, the blizzard behind him. As he does a quick run between Nagas' legs, the blizzard follows and freezes Nagas. I always knew you were cold-hearted, but this is ridiculous. So what should we call you now? Isis Nagas? Exis Nanoop? Ooh, Nagasal.
This is bad comedy.
Uh-oh. This is how you will end, Quickster!
The challenge must be met. The final battle between the armies of the cold and the keepers of the flame is about to begin. Fire and Ice, from the visual imagination of Ralph Bakshi and the dazzling artistry of Frank Frazetta. A fantasy adventure from 20th Century Fox.
I can't keep up the pace while Nagas is in his element. Which is, you know, all of them. If only I could get a ring or two. That would give me the edge I need. But then Nagas would grab some too. And it'd only get worse. Unless... Heads up, Exis Noogie. I'm coming right at ya. Arrogant whelp. I'm Exis Nagas. The elements are mine to command, including the stone of this very mountain. Enjoy your new tomb. I will, along with all the rings you buried with me. No! I'll admit, I don't have a lot of finesse with this kind of power. But it's enough to send you back to your creepy zone. Curse you, Sonic! This is not the end of it. Mobiletropolis will be mine. I will return. I will return! Yeah, well, no hurry. Aw, that took all the ring power. Oh well. It was fun while it lasted. Well, Eddie, I protected your resting place from Nagas, and I made sure he didn't use your buddy Nate's rings for evil. Not bad for a visit, huh? Rest in peace, buddy. And as the flashback ends, Sonic tells Nagas that he was right. But unfortunately, not only did Nagas come back, the same goes for Dr. Eggman. Now this was a story. It wasn't a bad story. It was a good story with amazing art. Have you noticed that there was actually backgrounds? Anyway, I felt a bit discouraged when I first read this issue because it was just a retelling of the original story, which was so bad. But if you just look past that, it isn't the old story with an actual story and great artwork, and it's tied into current issues. It's good. It's a great free Sonic comic. I would say it's probably not the best. The past issues were better on Free Comic Book Days, but this is still one of the better of Sonic comics there is. But that's not all. This free comic book issue came with some free character data pages, such as a page going over the history of Sonic himself, Exis Nagas, the story behind him, Dr. Robotnik, past and current freedom fighters, and even the original Death Egg. Just what people could use when they pick up this issue and want to jump right into the current storyline. And there's this even nice bonus pin-up in the back with St. John Jeffrey and Nagas. One thing that I just can't help but noticing the differences in Nagas' face in the flashback and the current. The Flashback being all smooth and shiny. On the current day, he's all wrinkly and bumpy and stuff. Just goes to show that time he spent in that zone and being as a pet didn't go well for him. But he's still just as powerful as ever. So the flashback story takes place in between issues 71 and 74. But this issue, with the opening and closing, with the death egg and such, takes place in between issues 224 and issue 225. So you just slide that right in your collection there and it's just fine. I gotta say, this was very good. Very good issue. Unlike you bad issue, bad. No. Well, that's the second issue of Prospective. Now, as much as I love Sonic and I have a huge Sonic collection, I'm not going to be one of those guys who only does Sonic stuff. I'll get bored of that fast. So, thanks to a mail order, I got my internet reviewing dice here. Give it a shake, let it roll, and I get to see what I review for my next video. Wow, I didn't know that would... God, that's not a good thing. Tune in next time as we do something that Chance says I have to.